Imagine this. You wake up tomorrow morning and when you try to speak, nothing comes out. No pain, no warning. Your mouth moves, your lungs work. But language is gone. Not broken, not damaged. Gone. At first, you think it's just you. Then you reach for your phone. Voice notes don't work. The radio plays music, but no one speaks. News anchors move their lips in perfect silence. The world hasn't gone quiet. It has gone mute. And within minutes, everything we call normal begins to fracture. Because speech is not decoration, it is not background noise. Speech is the infrastructure of human coordination. Without it, order doesn't decay slowly. It collapses immediately. Traffic lights still function, but no one can shout a warning. Pilots can see their instruments, but no one can speak from the tower. Hospitals still have machines, but doctors can't hand over lives with words. Medicine runs on timing, timing runs on language, and silence kills faster than ignorance ever did. Emergency systems fail first. Police arrive but cannot coordinate. Firefighters can't shout commands. Ambulances can't ask questions. Every system built on rapid feedback breaks at once. Now, zoom out. Markets crash before anyone understands why. Trust evaporates because reassurance requires explanation. Text is too slow. Gestures are too vague. Panic spreads, not because something happened, but because no one can say what's happening. Fear fills the gap, and fear always spreads faster than facts. But the real damage isn't structural, it's psychological. Because language isn't just how we communicate, it's how we think. A man watches his child panic and cannot say, "You're safe." A woman feels rage rising and cannot name it before it becomes action. No one can talk themselves down anymore. They spiral. Anxiety becomes permanent because reassurance no longer exists. Empathy thins, not because people become cruel, but because empathy depends on shared stories. A look can't explain grief. A gesture can't apologize. Silence cannot say, "I love you." Families misread each other. Friends drift. Conflicts escalate, not from hatred, but from misunderstanding with no repair. Violence becomes more common, not because humans become aggressive, but because explanation disappears. So humanity adapts. Of course it does. Writing explodes overnight. Screens fill with frantic text. Whiteboards replace conversations. Notebooks become priceless. But writing is slow. It requires literacy. And literacy is not evenly distributed. Suddenly, the educated become powerful. The illiterate become invisible. Children struggle. The elderly struggle more. Entire populations are locked out of coordination. This isn't equality by silence, it's hierarchy by default. Symbols come next. Arrows, colors, hand signals. New semi-languages emerge. They can issue commands, they can give warnings, but they can't negotiate meaning. There are no debates, no persuasion, no storytelling. And that's when something deeper breaks, because civilization does not run on food or fuel alone. It runs on shared stories. Stories explain why rules exist. They justify sacrifice. They create identity. Without spoken language, shared myths die. And when myths die, consent dies with them. This is why power hardens. Authoritarian systems adapt faster than democracies, not because they're smarter, but because they require less explanation. Commands replace conversation. Force replaces agreement. Silence favors control. Years pass. Humanity survives. But it is no longer the same species psychologically. Brains rewire. Speech centers shrink. Visual dominance grows. Art becomes argument. Architecture becomes ideology. Music carries emotion words once held. Humans no longer speak their way through reality. They signal their way through it. Life becomes more efficient and more brutal. Misinterpretation becomes normal. Conflict becomes quick. Resolution becomes rare. Intimacy thins, not because love disappears, but because love needs articulation. You can touch someone, you can look at them, but you cannot tell them who they are to you. And over generations, something unsettling happens. Humanity forgets what it lost. Children grow up never hearing a voice. Silence feels natural. Speech becomes myth. Civilization continues, leaner, colder, functional, but diminished. Because here's the truth we never noticed. Speech was never just sound. Speech was cooperation at scale. Speech was thought made transferable. Speech was violence delayed long enough for understanding to intervene. Without language, humanity doesn't become quiet. It becomes primitive with technology. And the final irony is this: language was never our greatest invention. It was our greatest restraint. When language disappears, humanity doesn't go silent. It forgets how to be human. Until next time, stay curious.